SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's make a quick video really. There's no need to beat around the bush. That's my new thing, isn't it, really, just saying that. There's no need to beat around the bush. Just make a quick video. It lasts for 20 minutes of me rambling about loads of nonsense basically. Right, so I'll try my best. Right, so what we're seeing at the moment, Bitcoin is down, as we all know, from the ETF, as we all expected, down to the 50 exponential, which is a pretty sharp drop, and it's happened very fast. From wick to wick, it's about 15% now, currently sitting at around the 11-12%. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's a major reaction, and again, something that we kind of expected, exactly as expected. But you know, nothing goes down forever, constantly, all the way. Well, some things do, I suppose. But, you know, Bitcoin's not likely to. So where's the bounce? When bounce? When bounce is the question. So I'll put it to you that there's a chance of a bounce around here. Now, that wick took us down below 50 exponential. The last 50 supported us dramatically with a V-shaped recovery. Portion of a golden cross, really. Take to a 4 hourly, though, things are looking a bit different. On the stream last night, we were hovering around this area. I was saying, look, okay, if there is an area to try it from, you could maybe think about doing it like this, but you know, risk to reward. Always think about the risk to reward. You know, and the risk to reward is not great. So with that, you know, it would make me think, well, what's the point in making a trade if the risk is as much or if not more than the reward? Even though we might be bouncing around this area. But anyway, just as well we didn't do anything because the risk to reward wasn't good, and also the price broke down below that 200 exponential, and now. The last 4 hourly candle body bounced and rejected from it. We're trying another one now, and again, you know, if we can reclaim this one, you might see moves back up to maybe as much as 45,000. But the daily's saying more along the lines of 44,000. And what is that? A $900 move? Risk to reward. Risk to reward. It's not good. So, yeah, I'm in favour of an attempted bounce, but I'm also in favour of a rejection around here. And you might think, well, why don't you short this? No. You could make both of those trades. You could long this, and then you could short that, and then, you know, you could have derivatives pouring out of your ears. Like, it's Saturday. I'm gonna be busy, you know. It's got 2 little kids that need entertaining constantly throughout the day, so not really a trading environment around here for that sort of thing. But also, yeah, I more has promised myself, you know, exit positions, allow for the market to tell me what it wants to do. And this is only 3 days now. This is day 3 after the event. You know, the market has been pretty clear that it says I've had enough. But the market isn't really showing me much more than that. Not to any degree of accuracy where I'm willing to place down, you know, large amounts of money into it. Now, I've seen a fair bit of chatter now talking about how altcoins are going to run, like they've not run already. Let's face it, we were managing to smash these altcoin charts all the way back since, I think, as early as September. And so for us, the alt season has been pretty fruitful and long-lasting. A lot of people now are thinking that we're going to get a alt season as a result of Bitcoin coming down and Ethereum going up, and there is evidence for that. There definitely is evidence for that. And you've probably heard people talking about it. I had someone told me to watch a blockchain backer thing, so I thought, you know what, I'll watch it. I don't normally watch other people's YouTube videos, and I watched it, and you know what, I'm amazed that somebody like that can get so many followers. Share the wealth, right? Share the wealth. I need some of those followers. Why do I not get followers? I think I make some appropriate calls, you know, consistently. Why do I not get any followers? Anyway, jealousy is the thief of joy, so I'll leave it there. But the main thing I would be touting on any of these charts is if you're going to assume any kind of alt season, you might be thinking it would be like this one, where Bitcoin consolidated around, started to consolidate around December through January 2020 to 2021. This is what happened around that time. Let's zoom all the way back. Bitcoin had a nice big long-lasting tear, 300% rally, and then consolidated about 30% and then went on for further highs. That did happen, but it happened at a different portion of the cycle, so towards the end. So this 2021 was always going to be the last stage of the rally. It also happened in the form of a huge amount of liquidity entering the market thanks to the Fed money printing and the rest of the stock market doing the same. It also had a giant, huge peak on the Bitcoin dominance chart, which inevitably popped and dumped, which allowed for a really good trade. And we got this one perfectly. We smashed this one as well. We got out of Bitcoin and into altcoins at the very, very, very peak. And we were even bot trading altcoin to altcoin throughout their sideways and down movement, accumulating loads and loads of BNB. We were smashing this market back then. Now, as much as there is a reference point to go by that something like this it has happened in the past, and this behavior has happened once before. It happened from a much higher level in a different portion of the cycle. And really, at this point, I would be skeptical, expecting Bitcoin or altcoins to actually have a similar kind of rally. But if we're going to go down that route, let's have a think about what it's going to require. So at the moment, Bitcoin dominance is being supported on a 200 exponential moving average, similar to this, where obviously there was a big reaction. A lot of people don't think the dominance chart is, a chart worth referencing anymore. I believe it is still a chart to reference. It is still. Look at it like this. If lots of people reference a chart, then it gives it validity because everybody's looking at it and they're using it to make decisions. It's a hive mind. So, yeah, I still think it's true that people look at this chart. I look at this chart and we are seeing reactions on the chart. So it's good until further notice, as far as I'm concerned. There are obviously lots of other charts you can look at, but we're just going to look at this for now. Now, you would expect a reaction around here, a bounce, which would favour a Bitcoin position. Whether it goes up or down, you'll either lose less or make a bit more. So this does favour a Bitcoin position at this very moment in time, looking for a bounce here. And if we break down from here, then obviously that's not the case. And 49% dominance would be the next portion on this chart before any kind of bounce. Now, if we do lose this area, then it does go to a downtrend, and that would be alt season-ish type vibes. The 4 hourly, basically looking like that already, but based on the daily and from what we saw on the weekly, two major supports, 200 exponential on the daily and on the weekly. So look, until we start to see a breakdown, there's no point for me trying to get clever and allocating positions into altcoins in anticipation for a potential breakdown at support. Supports are for to be supported on, and we are being supported right this very moment in time. Also, I'm not losing track of my overall goal, which was to effectively get out of the market once Bitcoin hits that 48,000, especially when the ETF goes live, likely marking a top or at least a potential peak. And just waiting now for a much better entry point later on down the line. After the halving in April, that's likely going to be the last thing that Bitcoin needs to give up the gain. And that's bullish. You'll probably have people talk about that now. Oh, the halving. Oh, the halving's good. And it is good. I know it's good. It's good, same as the ETF effectively is good long term, but buy the rumour, sell the news, and the next rumour is the next news is going to be the halving, right? So I reckon the halving will trigger the actual consolidation and allow for Bitcoin to give up the game and come back down to reasonable levels to buy from. And then I'm sure we'll be having loads of FUD. Oh, China doing this, thing is doing that. Exchange doing this, thing is doing that, and then before you know it, it's been kicked down the stairs too. Well, probably lower than we expect it to be, and that's where I'll be looking to buy. When the fear is high, and that's where I'll be looking to buy. So that's the overall goal. But yeah, there is evidence on the chat to say that we might see some upside on altcoins, and that's here on the total 2. Total 2 looking actually really quite good. Buyback last week, buyback this week on the 10 exponential on the weekly. Take it to a daily. Nothing more than buybacks taking place as of today on the Bollinger Band Centre. It's going to be a volatile market, right? We all know that. Altcoins, for the most part, and again, for the most part, are relatively hot on their money flow indexes, just like Bitcoin is. And so if there is going to be some liquidity drained out of this market in the form of Bitcoin or altcoins, yeah, the best time to do it is kind of basically now. And if it's not now, it's when people start getting euphoric about altcoins, which can happen. So if altcoins do start to rally up, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% from here, which they could do based on the dominant, not the dominance chart, but not right now, but on the total 2, does suggest that that's a possibility. If they do start doing that, when they finally reach their peak, there'll be a dump like you've never seen. Well, we've always seen it. We've seen it, but there will be a crunch and a crash and a drop very, very fast, because altcoins, despite trading at sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars in a 24-hour period, is still pretty illiquid. It does not take much to rug pull that and see the dramatic pullback. So I'm still in favour of a cash position, and yeah, I'll be looking for bounces on these charts, but not this early on in the day. And by day I mean weekly, after the event, after this pullback. So if there was a gun to my head, and I like to make this analogy on the Patreon streams, if there was a gun to my head and said, what do you think is going to happen today? I would say I think that there's going to be a bounce. I think there will be a bounce. I think Bitcoin will move to 44,000 and maybe even 45. I think altcoins will bounce along with that and probably outperform to maybe even double that. And the only way that we could really think about trading altcoins would be in the form of Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin's dip in the form of altcoins, so using Bitcoin as an indicator really, and also using it as an indicator to get out. So when Bitcoin approaches 44,000, start to limit positions. 45,000, absolutely out of positions. But this is a crooked way to trade, and we haven't established any kind of continuation of alt season, although there is some evidence for it. So for me, risk to reward is still way too high. My cash position is too juicy to start dipping into it after only 3 days of being in it. It's always very tempting to do that, but part of trading is not, it's sticking to a plan. I've made a plan. I've had a plan for months. This plan is still the plan, and I don't want to deviate from the plan for a measly 5 to 50% bounce on an altcoin, where I could sit tight and enjoy those gains and redeploy them much later on in the year in anticipation for hundreds, maybe even thousands of percent gains. That's the plan, and that's more realistic, and that's better risk to reward and also better gains. The only problem is time, and that is something that a lot of people will struggle with, but absolutely not me. I love time. There's plenty of things I can do with my time. Right, that's basically it. I'll leave it with you there. Hopefully that makes sense. Like I say, I do expect to see a bounce today, but I won't be playing it. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.